Hello Internet. So today I'm going to be cracking open this display case of Yu-Gi-Oh! Maximum Gold. And if you didn't see the Genesis Impact video, basically because of issues getting hold of Genesis Impact, I had to order it online. And I ordered a few other booster boxes that the site was either had on sale or, still had in stock for the first edition ones. And I picked up a display case of Maximum Gold as well while I was at it. So just going to do a quick jump cut as I get this open up the cases, take out the packs, just so you're not having to sit through me doing that. And I'll see you all in a few moments. Okay, and we're back. So I know last video for Maximum Gold I said, I really couldn't see recommending buying it for yourself. Probably better off just getting the singles. There is one use for it I hadn't thought of at the time, and that's if you know somebody who's into Yu-Gi-Oh! And you want to get them something Yu-Gi-Oh! Related for Christmas or for if they have a birthday around that time. It would work, I guess, fairly well as a Christmas present, because I think all of the cards in it are chase cards. There's no all the cards in the packs that I've seen were actually good. So it's not like, hey, here's 4 packs and you might get like 2 cards out of it that are actually decent. So, but just get right into it. Still hoping to pull a, cause I'm pretty sure Dark Magician and Blue Eyes White Dragon are in the set as the full gold foil, and I would like to get one of those at least. I mean, not expecting to, but we have a Magical Meltdown. When it's activated, you can add Alistair the Invoker from your deck to your hand. Activation of your cards and effects that include an effect that fusion summons a fusion monster cannot be negated. Also, your opponent's cards and effects cannot activate while a fusion monster is fusion summoned this way. So, very good protection for fusions. Number 87, Queen of the Night. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, then activate one of these effects. Target a set or spell trap your opponent controls while it's face up on the field. That card cannot be activated. Target one plant monster on the field, change that target to face down defense position. Or one face up monster on the field gains 300 attack. I mean, decent enough effects. She has good stats. I mean, it's not bad. We have Artifact Lancia. You can set this card from your hand to your spell and trap zone as a spell. During your opponent's turn, if the set card in the spell and trap zone is destroyed and sent to your graveyard, special summon it. During your opponent's turn, you contribute this card from your hand or face up on the field. Neither player can banish cards for the rest of this turn. Fairly solid card overall. Synchron Carrier. During your main phase, you can normal summon one Synchron monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only get this effect once per turn. If another Synchron monster is sent to your graveyard as material for the Synchro summon of a warrior or machine Synchro monster while you control this card, you can special summon one Synchron token. You can only use this effect once per turn. I mean, it's decent enough. Gives you an extra normal summon, which has some uses. Shared Ride. For the rest of this turn, each time a card is added from the main deck or graveyard to your opponent's hand, except by drawing them, you immediately draw one card. You can only activate one Shared Ride per turn. There's a lot of card draw in Yu-Gi-Oh! Very good against it. The old Polymerization. And Foolish Burial. Send one spell or trap from your... Foolish Burial Goods. Send one spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard. You can only activate one Foolish Burial Goods per turn. I mean, it's not bad. There are a few things that let you use your spell and traps from the discard for various purposes, so... We have the White Stone of the Ancients. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your deck. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target one Blue Eyes monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So, very good for getting out Blue Eyes quickly. Monarch Erupts. Activate this card only if you have no cards in your extra deck and control a tribute summoned monster. Negate the effects of all face-up monsters on the field while those monsters are face-up on the field, except tribute summon monsters. During your end phase, if you control no tribute summon monsters, send this card to the graveyard. I mean, there are... is it Pot of Gluttony? One that lets you tribute or use cards in your extra deck, get rid of them, draw the extra cards. So that would work nicely with that. We have Totally Awesome. Once per turn during the standby phase, you can detach one material from this card, special summon one frog monster from your deck. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a spell or trap or monster effect, quick effect, you can send one aqua monster from your hand or face up field to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then you can set it to your field. If this card was sent to the graveyard, you can target one water monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a staple in frog decks, so, I mean, it's quite a good card. We have Eldritch, the Golden Lord. You can send this card and one spell or trap from your hand to the graveyard, then target one card on the field, send it to the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send one spell or trap you control to the graveyard. Add this card to your hand, then you can special summon one zombie monster from your hand, and if you do, until the end of your opponent's turn, it gains 1000 attack and defense, and cannot be destroyed by card effects. So, I mean, that's very good card. We have, Red Eyes Black Dragon. I mean, I'll take it. I'm not going to complain about getting the gold foil Red Eyes Black Dragon. Imperial Tombs of Necro Valley. When a spell or trap or monster effect is activated while both a Gravekeeper's monster and Necro Valley are on the field, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Now, I mean, on the one hand, it does let you cancel out basically spell, trap, or monster effect and destroy the card. Requires a Gravekeeper and Necro Valley. I mean, it's obviously intended specifically for one type of deck, so I'm not going to complain too much. Tour Bus to Forbidden Realms. Flip, add one Fiend monster from your deck to your hand, except a dark or light monster. I mean, it's not as good as Tour Bus to the Underworld, but still, it's not a bad card. You have another number 87, Queen of the Night. Lose one turn. Activate only if you currently control no special summon monsters. When a monster is face up on the field, negate its effects during the turn the monster was special summoned. If an effect monster is special summoned in attack position, change it to defense position. I mean, it's a decent enough thing to slow down your opponent's stuff. Barrier Statue of the Drought. Neither player can special summon monsters except earth monsters. Infinite Impertinence. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effect until the end of this turn. Then if this card was set before activation and is on the field at resolution. For the rest of this turn, all other spell or traps effects in this column are negated. If you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. Honestly not sure how I feel about that one. Oh, we have Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. When a monster on the field activates its effect, or when a spell or trap that is already face up on the field activated its effect, you can send this card from your hand to the field to the graveyard, destroy that card on the field. So, it doesn't negate the effects, but it still lets you destroy the card, so has some uses. Sacred Sword of 7 stars. Banish one level 7 monster from your hand or face up field. Draw 2 cards. You can only activate one Sacred Sword of 7 stars per turn. Dimensional Prison. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, target the attacking monster, banish that target. I mean, fairly straightforward. I mean, it's just a straight up trap with no hoops to jump through. We have Night Beam. Target one set spell or trap your opponent controls. Destroy that target. Your opponent cannot activate the targeted card in response to this card's activation. I mean, seems like fairly decent spot removal for spells and traps. We have White Prince. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send one Skull Servant and one Lady in White from your hand and or deck to the graveyard. You can banish 2 Skull Servants and this card from your graveyard. Special summon 1 King of Skull Servants from your deck. This card's name becomes Skull Servant while it's in the graveyard. You know, pretty sure this is a staple in the Skull Servant deck. Wouldn't mind making a Skull Servant deck at some point. We have Borrelsaur Dragon. Cannot be destroyed by battle. Once per turn, you can target 1 attack position monster, change it to defense position. Also, this card can make a 2nd attack during each battle phase this turn. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. Once per turn, when this card declares an attack on a face-up monster, you can activate this effect. Until the end of this turn, this card gains attack equal to half that monster's current attack, and if it does, that monster's current attack is halved. I mean, it's very good in combat. Can't be destroyed by battle. Little sad that I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a reference to the what were their names? Like I think it was Revolver Dragon, where it was, the flip the coins, and if you get so many heads, you can destroy a certain number of cards. But has nothing to do with that. We have Madolche Chateau. When this card is activated, shuffle all Madolche monsters in your graveyard into the deck. All Madolche monsters on the field gain 500 attack and defense. If a monster in your graveyard would be returned to the deck by the effect of a Madolche monster, you can add it to your hand instead. I'm pretty sure the Madolche archetype has a 3-card combo that instantly wins you the game when you pull it off, and I'm pretty sure this is part of it. Because you use this to, I think there was something where you tribute the monster, and then it gets returned to your hand from Madolche Chateau and the effect of another card. Another Polymerization. Tuning, add 1 Synchron Tuner from your deck to your hand, then send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. I mean, it's okay. And Grapha, Dragon Lord of Dark World. You can special summon this card from your graveyard by returning 1 Dark World monster you control to the hand, except Grapha. If this card is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy that target. Then if this card was discarded from your hand to your graveyard by an opponent's card effect, look at 1 random card on your opponent's hand. Then if it was a monster, you can special summon it to your field. I mean, kind of nice that it's fairly easy to actually get him out onto the field, and he has a way of returning. Focus, please. Like, he has a way of stealing your opponent's monsters as well. And messing with your opponent. So, I mean, it's an interesting card. We have another White Prince. Dragon's Mirror. Fusion summon 1 Dragon Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your field or graveyard. Oh, Tour Guide from the Underworld. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 level 3 Fiend monster from your hand or deck, but negate its effects. Also, it cannot be used as synchro material. This, I'm pretty sure, is a quite powerful card. I'm pretty sure it's limited to 1 copy. Unexpected Die. If you control no monsters, special summon 1 level 4 lower normal monster from the deck. I mean, decent enough. Droll and Lockbird. If a card is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, except during the draw phase. Oh, excuse me. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. For the rest of this turn, cards cannot be added from either player's main deck to the hand. So, very good for stopping your opponent. I'm pretty sure that would shut off a lot of combos. Sky Palace, Gengari Die. You can detach 1 material from this card, then to target 1 card in your opponent controls, destroy that target, and if you do, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. You can only use this effect once per turn. Not sure how I feel about that, because it requires 2 level 10 monsters. I mean, decent stats. And I guess, you can blow up 2 of your opponent's... Oh, it can't attack... Oh, never mind. You can't attack the same turn that you use that effect, and you can only use the effect once per turn, so... I mean, you can't blow up your opponent's monster and then just punch through them. Mistaken Arrest. Until the end of your next turn after this card resolves, neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing them. Once again, another one that's good for shutting down combos. We have Union Scramble. Target up to 3 of your banished light normal machine normal monsters and or light machine union monsters. Special summon them. During either player's turn, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of your banished light machine normal monsters or light machine union monsters, return it to the hand. I mean, that seems pretty good. Noble Knight Dryston. When you control another Noble Knight monster, your opponent cannot target your monsters with less than 1800 attack, except this card with card effects, and their monsters cannot target them with attacks. If a Noble Arms equipped spell becomes equipped to this card, target one face-up card on the field, destroy that target. No, I mean, seems decent enough. Another Synchron Carrier. Fire Formation Gyoku. Activate this card by targeting one set spell or trap your opponent controls. Your opponent cannot activate the targeted card in response to this card's activation. While this card is face up on the field, that set card cannot be activated. All Beast Warrior monsters you control gain 100 attack. I mean, that's not too bad for shutting down. If you're pretty sure you know what your opponent's face down card is, you can just stop them from using it. Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. Itty bitty writing. If your opponent special summons a Link monster except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand, draw cards equal to the number of Link monsters your opponent controls +1, then shuffle cards from your hand into the deck equal to the number of Link monsters they control. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a monster you control, you can discard one card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. You can only use each effect once per turn. So, I mean, if your opponent Link summons, you can special summon him out, and you basically get to filter your hand a bit. I mean, that's not too bad. Apollousa, Bow of the Goddess. You can only control one Apollousa, Bow of the Goddess. The original attack of this card becomes 800 times the number of Link material used for its Link summon. Once per chain, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can make the card lose exactly 800 attack, and if you do, negate the activation. So, ideally, you'd be using 4 monsters to summon this, so you get the 4 effects. I mean, I think I pulled one of these before, and I said it wasn't that good. I mean, you can stop a lot of combos with it, and I guess that's sort of the point. And then we have Terraforming. Add a field card from your deck to your hand. I'm pretty sure this was actually banned at one point. Because if you're only... Because it basically means that you're running 6 copies of a field spell if you're only running 1 field spell. And there was some... from what I understand, there were some kind of broken field spells at times. We have, there can be only one. Each player can only control 1 monster of each type. If a player controls 2 or monsters of the same type, they must send some to the graveyard so they control no more than 1 monster of that type. Another Dragon's Mirror. We have Monster Reborn. Target a monster in either graveyard, special summon it. Still wishing that they would bring back the old art. We have number 15, Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder. Up to twice per turn during your main phase 1, you can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 special summoned monster your opponent controls, destroy it, then if it was an Xyz monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. Huh. That seems like a pretty good effect. And it's twice per turn. I mean, the stats are kind of terrible, but... Another Fire Formation Gyoku. And Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. During either player's turn, except during the end phase, you can discard this card, apply this effect this turn. You can only use this effect once per turn. Each time your opponent special summons an effect monster during the main phase or battle phase, you gain life points equal to that monster's attack. If you do not gain life points by this effect, your life points are halved during the end phase. I mean, overall, it's not that good per se, but I mean, considering how I've seen some decks go off, you can gain a decent amount of life points from it. Set rotation. Set 2 field spells with different names from your deck to the field, 1 on your field and 1 on your opponent's field. While either of those cards remain set on the field, neither player can activate or set other field spells. So, I mean, very good for just shutting down, if you know your opponent's relying on specific field spells. We have Dark Lord Ixchel. You can discard this card and one Dark Lord card, draw 2 cards. You can pay 1,000 life points, then target one Dark Lord spell or trap in your graveyard. Apply that target's effect, then shuffle that target into the deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. You can special summon once per turn. I mean, if nothing else, I do like the fact that you can, just discard her and another Dark Lord to draw 2 cards. So, I mean, even if she's a dead draw, she's not a dead draw, which is pretty good. Another White Stone of Ancients. The Harpy's Feather Duster. Just straight up destroy all spell and traps your opponent controls. Pretty sure this is restricted to 1 copy per deck now. It used to be banned, and then, from what I understand, it was... after they had announced Maximum Gold, but before anybody knew what cards were in it, this card mysteriously came off of the banned list and was restricted to 1, and so everybody was saying that Harpy's Feather Duster was going to come out in it. We have another Unexpected Die. We have Kitchen Dragon Maid. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Dragon Maid monster from your deck to your hand, except Kitchen Dragon Maid. Then send 1 Dragon Maid monster from your hand to the graveyard. At the start of the battle phase, you can return this card to your hand, and if you do, special summon 1 level 8 Dragon Maid monster from your hand or graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. The Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Buffalo. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send a total of 2 Fire Fist or Fire Formation cards from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your graveyard and only use this effect once per turn. I mean, kind of nice that it brings itself back. Mage Power. Equipped monster gains 500 attack and defense for each spell or trap you control. I mean, very solid buff spell. Not as good as some, but I mean, if nothing else, it's just a straight 500 boost on its own. So, we have another Dark Lord Ixchel. We have Nurse Dragon Maid. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target 1 level 4 lower Dragon Maid monster in your graveyard, except Nurse Dragon Maid. Special summon it. At the start of the battle phase, you can return this card to your hand, and if you do, special summon 1 level 7 Dragon Maid monster from your hand or graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. We have Dark Lord Morningstar. Cannot be special summoned. If this card is tribute summoned, you can special summon Dark Lord monsters from your hand and or deck up to the number of effect monsters your opponent controls. While you control another Dark Lord monster, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. You can send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to the number of Dark Lord monsters on the field, and if you do, gain 500 life points for each. We have Starlight Junction. You can tribute 1 tuner monster, special summon 1 synchron monsters from your deck with a different level than the tributed monsters had on the field. During your opponent's turn, if you special summon a synchro monster from your extra deck, target 1 card on the field, shuffle it into the deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. Huh. That's interesting. We have another Phantasme. We have Mecha Phantom Beast Blue Impala. Cannot be used as synchro material monsters except for the synchro summon of a machine monster. The other synchro material monsters are Mecha Phantom Beast monsters in your hand and or the field. When you control a token, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. If only your opponent controls a monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon a Mecha Beast Phantom token. And Super Dimensional Robot Galaxy Destroyer. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, destroy all spell or traps your opponent controls. Your opponent cannot activate spell or traps in response to this effect's activation. I mean, requires 3 level 10 monsters, but it's 5,000 attack, and you can just straight up destroy all the spells or traps on your opponent's field. That's not a bad effect. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head if there is anything larger than 5,000 in the game. Not that I know of. I'm sure that there probably is something larger that I can't think of off the top of my head. But, I mean, just as far as just straight up stats go, it's not bad. We have another White Stone of Ancients. We have Traptrix Daonet. Unaffected by the effects of whole normal traps. While this card is normal summoned, you can target one Traptrix monster in your graveyard. Special summon that card in defense position. When this card is special summoned, you can target one whole normal trap in your graveyard. Set that target, but banish it during the end phase of your next turn if it is still on the field. You can only use each effect once per turn, or this effect once per turn. I mean, decent enough. Number 74, Master of Blades. When a card or effect activates that targets this face-up card, you can detach one material from this card, negate that activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then you can destroy one card on the field. That's quite a nice effect for protection. Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. You can detach 2 materials from this card, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its current attack, and if it does, this card gains that lost attack. I mean... Oh, that's not until end of turn. That's just a straight... it gains half the attack of the opponent's monster, period. We have another Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. We have Mecha Phantom Beast Colt Wing. If this card is special summon 2 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens. You must control another Mecha Phantom Beast monster to activate and to resolve this effect. This card's level is increased by the total level of all Mecha Phantom Beast tokens you control. When you control a token, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Once per turn, you contribute 2 tokens, then target one card your opponent controls, destroy that target, and if you do, banish it. That's quite nice. And another Sacred Sword of 7 stars. I have a White Prince, Dragon's Mirror, Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. Neither player can special summon monsters except wind monsters. We have Stardust Charge Warrior. When this card is synchro summoned, you can draw 1 card. You can only use this effect once per turn. This card can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls once each. So, quite good against special summon decks, which I think a lot of them tend to be nowadays. Zodiac Chekanine. Once per turn, you can also Xyz summon Zodiac Chekanine by using one Zodiac monster you control with a different name as material. Transfer its materials to this card. Gain attack and defense equal to the attack and defense of all Zodiac monsters attached to it as material. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 Zodiac monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but for the rest of this turn, its effects are negated, also cannot be used as material for an Xyz summon. That seems interesting enough. Another Grapha, and a Super Dimension Robot Galaxy Destroyer. We have Drowning Mirror Force. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, shuffle all your opponent's attack position monsters into the deck. Considering how many monsters nowadays, or at least boss monsters tend to have, cannot be affected by opponent's spell or trap cards, that seems quite useful. The fact that you're not destroying them, you're just shuffling them back into the deck. Have fun getting them back out. Flame Buffalo. If this face-up card leaves the field, you can discard 1 Cyberse monster, and if you do, draw 2 cards. You can only use this effect once per turn. I mean, decent enough, I guess. We have Alistair the Invoker. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target 1 fusion monster you control. It gains 1000 attack and defense until the end of this turn. If this card is normal summoned or flipped face up, you can add 1 invocation from your deck to your hand. Machine Duplication. Target 1 machine monster with 500 or less attack. Special summon up to 2 monsters from your deck with the same name as that face-up monster. I mean, this is quite good, especially now with Xyz and Link summons, and get quite a bit of mileage out of it. We have Transcode Talker. When this card is co-linked, and if it is co-linked monster, it and its co-linked monster gains 500 attack. Also, your opponent cannot target any of them with card effects. You can target one Link 3 or lower Cyberse Link monster in your graveyard, except Transcode Talker. Special summon it to your zone this card points to. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect, except Cyberse monsters. Seems quite nice. Miscellaneousaurus. Okay. During the main phase, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. During the main phase, dinosaur monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. You can banish any number of dinosaur monsters from your graveyard, including this card. Special summon one dinosaur monster from your deck with a level equal to the total number of monsters banished to activate this effect, but destroy it during the end phase. Huh. And another Mecha Phantom Beast Coltwing. We have another Dark Lord Ixchel. We have number 107, Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. Once per battle phase, at the start of your battle phase, you can detach one material from this card, negate the effects of all other face-up monsters currently on the field. Also, their attack and defense becomes their original attack and defense. During the battle phase, if you activated this effect this turn, each time an opponent's card effect resolves, this card gains 1000 attack until the end of the battle phase. Also can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. Seems quite interesting. We have Speedroid Taketomborg. When you control a winged monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can tribute this card, special summon one Speedroid Tuner monster from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except wind monsters. You can only special summon Speedroid Taketomborg once per turn. I mean, that seems quite good for setting up any combos you have. We have Cosmo Dark Destroyer. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one monster on the field, destroy it. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effects and sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one level 7 or lower Cosmo monster from your deck. We have another Apollousa, another Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Buffalo, and another Mage Power. One thing I find interesting is that the full gold cards are not always in the same spots in these packs. Like, they're never in the front and doesn't seem to be ever in the very back, but other than that, they're usually different spots in the pack. A Dark Lord Contact. Special summon one Dark Lord monster from your graveyard in defense position. You can only activate one Dark Lord Contact per turn. We have Traptrix Diane, Nurse Dragon Maid, Synchron Carrier, Sky Striker Ace Kagari. If this card is special summoned, you can target one Sky Striker spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand, gains 100 attack for each spell in your graveyard. You can only special summon Sky Striker Ace Kagari once per turn. Yeah, set rotation and DD Warrior Lady. After damage calculation, focus please. When this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish that monster. Also banish this card. So pretty good for, you just want to get rid of an opponent's monster right now. You don't care about how much damage you take. Yeah, just ram her into it. She makes anything go away. Especially because that's banishing is not destroying. We have Lost World, All monsters on the field lose 500 attack and defense except dinosaur monsters. Once per turn, if a dinosaur monster is normal or special summoned, except during the damage step, you can special summon one Jura Egg token to your opponent's field in defense position. When your opponent controls a token, they cannot target monsters on the field with card effects except tokens. Once per turn, if a normal monster on the field would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy that many dinosaur monsters in your hand and or deck instead. So that seems like quite good for dragon decks. I have another Magical Meltdown. Cyber Dragon Infinity. Once per turn, you can also XC summon Cyber Dragon Infinity by using Cyber Dragon Nova. You control its material, transfer its materials to this card, gains 200 attack for each material attached to it. Once per turn, you can target one face-up attack position monster on the field, attach it to this card as material. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, you can detach one material from this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So, seems like quite a good card. Lair of Darkness. All face-up monsters become dark. Once per turn, if you attribute a monster you control to activate a card effect, you contribute one dark monster your opponent controls, even though you do not control it. Once per turn, during the end phase, special summon as many Torment tokens as possible to turn the player's field in defense position. Once per turn, during the end phase, special summon as many Torment tokens as possible to the turn player's field in defense position up to the number of monsters tributed this turn when this card was face up on the field. Not quite sure how I feel about that one. Because, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can use with tokens, and giving your opponent tokens seems like might bite you in the butt. We have another Infinite Impertinence. Dark Lord Rebellion. Send one Dark Lord monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. Destroy one card on the field. You can only activate one Dark Lord Rebellion per turn. And Dark Lord Nastin. You can discard 2 other Dark Lord cards. Special summon this card from your hand. You can pay 1,000 life points, then target one Dark Lord spell or trap in your graveyard. Apply that target's effect, then shuffle that target into the deck. You can only use this effect once per turn. And you can only special summon him once per turn. Now I'll say this much for Yu-Gi-Oh! After coming back to it and looking into it after so many years, is there's so many archetypes and different decks wanting to do different things that there's so many decks that make me go, ooh, I want to try this deck. Ooh, I want to try this deck. So, Coach Soldier Wolfbark. You can target one level 5 fire, beast, or warrior monster in your graveyard. Special summon it in defense position, but negate its effects. You can only use this effect once per turn. We have Mech Knight of the Morning Star. If this card is link summoned, you can discard one Mech Knight monster or one World Legacy card. Add one World Legacy card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. If your Mech Knight monster battles a monster of a different column than it, your monster cannot be destroyed by that battle. Also, you take no battle damage from that battle. Just a moment. There we go. We have a cat who's deciding to see what I'm doing. Just a moment. Sorry about that. Cat decided he wanted to be part of the video. So we have Madolsh Knights. When a monster effect is activated, if you have no monsters in your graveyard, negate the activation, and if you control no Madolsh Pudding Cess, shuffle one random card from your opponent's hand into the deck. I mean, decent enough. The Madolsh monsters don't want to be in the graveyard anyways, so we have Condemned Witch. When this card is normal summoned, you can add one Forbidden Quick Play spell from your deck to your hand. During your opponent's main phase, you contribute this card, special summon one level 4 fairy monster from your deck except Condemned Witch. You can only use each effect once per turn. Yeah, I mean, it's decent enough. Reinforcement of the Army. Add one level 4 lower warrior monster from your deck to your hand. Another Droll and Lockbird. And Preparation of Rites. Add one level 7 or lower ritual monster from your deck to your hand. then you can add one ritual monster from your graveyard to your hand. So, quite good for ritual decks. We have another Queen of the Night, White Stone of Ancients, another Alistair the Invoker. I mean, I would normally complain about getting him, but I've pulled a lot of cards that require Alistair the Invoker, so it's nice to actually have some, so I know just what he is. Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. We have Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. When a card or effect is activated that includes any of these effects, you can discard this card to negate that effect. And it's add a card from the deck to the hand, special summon from the deck, send a card from the deck to the graveyard. So anything involving the deck, basically, except putting cards into the deck. We have Sacred Sword of 7 Stars and Dark Lord Rebellion. Now, I mean, if I knew that I'd be pulling so many of the Ghost Girls from the Maximum Gold set, I wouldn't necessarily have bought 3 of the dual deck building kits. No, I still probably would have just for the storage boxes. We have White Prince, Dragon's Mirror, Machine Duplication, Barrier Statue of the Torrent. Neither player can special summon monsters except water monsters. We have Infernity Mirage. Cannot be special summoned from the graveyard. If you have no cards in your hand, you contribute this card, then target 2 Infernity monsters in your graveyard, special summon them. You have another Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. And another Dark Lord Nastin. We have 2 packs left. Yeah, come on. We have Scrap Recycler. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can send 1 machine monster from your deck to the graveyard. Once per turn, you can shuffle 2 level 4 earth monsters from your graveyard into the deck, draw 1 card. So, I mean, decent enough for setting up for special summoning from the graveyard. And it lets you draw cards. We have another Monster Reborn. Madolche Hootcake. If this card in your possession is destroyed by your opponent's card and sent to your graveyard, shuffle this card into the deck. You can add 1 monster. You can target 1 monster in your graveyard, banish it, and if you do, special summon 1 Madolche monster from your deck, except Madolche Hootcake. You can only use this effect once per turn. We have another Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. We have the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche. During your main phase, you can send 1 Phantom Knights monster from your deck to the graveyard, then set 1 Phantom Knights monster spell or trap directly from your deck to your spell and trap zone. If a Dark Xyz monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to while this monster is on the field, except during the damage step, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. You can only use each effect once per turn, cannot be used as link material. We have Silent Honor Arc. You can detach 2 materials from this card, then target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls in face-up attack position. Attach it to this card as material. You can only use this effect once per turn. If this face-up card on the field would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach 1 material from this card instead. So, once again, another one that's quite good for getting around monsters that say they can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. Number C107, Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card until the end of this turn, negate the effects of all other face-up cards currently on the field. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects on the field. If this card has number 107 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon as material against this effect, you contribute 2 monsters. This card can make up to 3 attacks on monsters during each battle phase this turn. I mean, seems like quite a good effect. And last pack, we have Go Gigas. When this card is in your graveyard, if you special summon a Go monster, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your graveyard in face-up defense position. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. You can only use this effect once per turn. We have Union Hanger. When this card is activated, you can add one Light Machine Union monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, if a Light Machine Union monster is normal or special summoned to your field, you can target one of those monsters, equip one appropriate Light Machine Union monster with a different name from your deck to that monster, but the Union monster cannot be special summoned this turn. You can only activate one Union Hanger per turn. I mean, decent enough. Another Teketomborg. Rank up Magic, the 7th one. To activate this card, you must draw it for your normal... Oh dear. Yeah, this is one of the ones that has just a whole paragraph of requirements for it. To activate this card, you must draw it for your normal draw in your draw phase, reveal it, and keep it revealed until the start of the main phase 1. At the start of your main phase 1, that same turn, you can special summon from your extra deck or graveyard one monster that has a number between number 101 and number 107 in its name, except number C monsters. Then XC summon from your extra deck one number C monster with the same name in its name as the first monster by using it as material. You can only apply the effect once per duel. You almost get the feeling that whoever wrote this moonlights as a lawyer, because that is party of the first party is subjugated to the... We have another Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, Terraforming, and Traptrix Murmello. Unaffected by the effects of whole normal trap monster. Unaffected by the effects of whole normal traps. While this card is normal summoned, you can add one whole normal trap from your deck to your hand. If this card is special summoned, target one spell or trap your opponent controls, destroy that target. And yeah, I know, like, you'd use Rank Up Magic to get the 107 Tachyon Dragon, and then it would immediately be used for C107, but still, it's very a very legalese way of reading it. But so anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all later.